So this week, the Mouse Masters put up a little bit more than you, and you came out with your first loss. Do you remember the last time you lost opening week? Because I don't.
The opening week, no, I really don't. It's big points, and finding that we start 0-1 this week. My other league, I usually lose, and of course I won it that week.
Oh, yeah.
I guess it's manifest destiny.
Yes.
But, yeah, basically, our matchup is decided, the Knicks had non-touchdown when his elbow was down, or, I saw that.
Yeah, that was close.
But I do, as soon as I saw the Steve Johnson touchdown, that's bad.
Yeah.
That's basically what he won by, the 29-yard touchdown to put him over the top.
Yeah, the late one.
So.
I mean, you gotta be thrilled with Julio Jones, though. I mean, he came out and had a huge day.
Yeah.
And that Atlanta team looks like they're destined to throw the ball all over the place. So you gotta be excited about that.
Oh yeah, that's why. I mean, some people could argue where we took him second pick, on the way back from the 8th spot, a little high, but Mike and I pretty high on him to begin with. We were hoping to get last. So.
Yeah, I mean, listen, if you didn't take him there, I was taking him with the next pick.
Yeah.
I was scooping him up instead of Larry Fitzgerald. So, I mean, I was that high on Julio, too. I think a lot of people were. The one thing I would be, not worried about is Eli Manning. Most weeks he's not going to put up a 12 spot.
Yeah, I mean, it's a little pedestrian, but, as a Giants fan, the whole game was pretty much a nightmare. He didn't turn it over, which I know in this league doesn't count, but it's reassuring, too, that he's playing well.
Well, you got to imagine Victor's going to hold off the ball a little bit more. And,
absolutely, yeah. And Nick got shut down from when I was
he did.
meeting and seeing, Claiborne somehow shut him down.
Yeah, I mean, he looks like Claiborne's the real deal over there in Dallas.
Yeah, maybe I'll do that for a week, but hopefully not.
Yeah, we'll see. How did it feel being ranked 11th this year, Kevin? I mean, I know I usually rank you guys in the top 2 or 3. How'd you feel being ranked down at the bottom this year? Was it a little surprise to you, or?
I mean, I listened to just a little bit of the rankings. And once I heard 11, I was like, all right, whatever. people take it seriously. I don't understand that. I know it's all fun.
Yeah.
Usually we are a top 2 or 3 team, and I think it's actually good to maybe it'll take the focus off of us. We get accused of a lot of walking and one side, which doesn't happen. I mean, it is fantasy, but we do know what we're doing. It's just picking names out of a hat, so.
No, it's not picking names.
I don't mind. It's just a number, it's an opinion, and it's pretty funny.
Well, good. I'm glad you don't take it as serious as some other people. I mean, I always tend to compare fantasy with poker. The same guys don't always win. The same guys don't win all the time for no reason,
Yeah, and it's skill and luck.
It's some luck.
You got to make the right matchup start.
Sure.
The schedule was a big deal, too. We would have beaten, all 4 teams, almost 5, if we played that. And we didn't.
It's some luck involved. It's some skill. I mean, listen, do I feel like I know less than you guys or my brother or Chris? I think I'm knowledgeable just as much as you guys, but sometimes I feel like maybe luck is against me, but sometimes I don't make the right moves and it comes back and haunts me. So it's 50-50 thing, I guess. You need to be, like you said, you need to have the right schedule. You need to have injury-free, but you also need to pick the right guys.
Absolutely. You got to know certain things, certain situations to avoid where guys could shine, and there's a multitude of things to go over, and knowing those things definitely an aid when it comes to draft day and then during the season. And football's easy because it's kind of a once a week thing. This year with the Thursday game, it puts a little bit more pressure on line decisions and stuff. To me, fantasy is all week. You gotta not have to quit your job or anything, but you gotta pay attention to certain things. You don't want to be sleeping when a guy might be out of the lineup and you just haven't looked at the site in 4 days. That's not a good thing. So I don't want to win anyway.
Pickups are very important as well. I mean, as you guys know, you guys scooped up Cam Newton last year.
Yeah, we got him a week later than we should have due to a fantasy baseball snafu on Mike's farm, which is pretty funny. Yeah, but we got him, and we rode him to the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean that's a big difference. You're going from having not a great quarterback to picking up maybe top 2, 3 quarterbacks in the league.
Yeah.
Pick up on a waiver wire, on a bid. It's a big difference.
Oh yeah. We almost repeated with that. Can you imagine?
You did. You almost did.
Yeah.
Almost. Now, what do you guys have? 3 Super Bowls?
Yeah, we won in 06.
And you won 09 and 010, right? Or 10, not 010. 10.
Yeah.
And, pretty sure you have a few point titles as well, right?
Yeah, but a couple of the years that we didn't win the titles, we won the point title, which is still pretty good. I mean, that's some cash and there's some respect to it. So.
Point title, usually says you were the most dominant team throughout the season. Maybe you just ran into a couple unfortunate situations, but point titles are to me almost. I don't want to give it as much credit as the Super Bowl, but it's right there with the Super Bowl.
Yeah, no. I mean, the Super Bowl's nice because it's all bragging and.
Sure, you name on trophy, you get the big paycheck. Now, what do you guys? When you go into a draft, what is it like? I mean, I know your partner's Mike Driscoll. Do you guys talk before? I mean, do you guys have a little bit of a strategy going into it? I'm not asking you to, give up everything, but
no.
what is the normal situation when you guys enter a draft as partners?
Well, in my case, I mean, my first year in your league, I was abysmal. Sure. I had guys like Brady, I had Brian Westbrook. I had a pretty decent starting lineup, but again, the diligence with the free agents, not really having foresight or anything, and I probably one of the worst teams in league history.
Yeah, it probably was.
Yeah, and just going through the years, and the next year I asked Mike to join up with me and kind of help, and then just doing fantasy, everything over the few years. You gain a lot of knowledge, you gain a lot of perspective, and with Mike, early on we would have a lot of meetings and just talk about certain scenarios, this and that. Now it's pretty much whittled down to just like a few texts. If we have to go somewhere, as a group, I'll talk to them about a few things. It's kind of like, again, like whittled down, so it's not as intense. And we know, like, certain players we like, and we know what to look for. So, like a set plan, I'm more plan-based. Mike is just like, let it come to us, and we'll see what happens.
Do you guys ever bicker or have different opinions during the draft, or is it mostly you guys are on the same page?
Like 90% of the time we're on the same page. There's a few instances where there's a guy that one of us will like more than the other, and usually we come to an agreement and we can settle on something or make an argument to have the other person see, all right, that's why you like him. I feel for that, So, and we've won a lot, and a couple teams we split, we've been successful, so we know, like, none of us is going to be, like, dead wrong, you know what I mean? So.
You must have the right recipe, I guess.
Yeah.
Now, how do you feel about this, your division here this year? You got J-Lo and his Bolts, you got Chris, you got Hayes, and you got yourself. I mean, does any one of these teams scare you more than the next, or you just not sure yet? You still feeling teams out? Have you looked them over?
In prep for this, I looked over several, pretty much all of these. And, I had Chris's squad. I was kind of surprised he beat us, because I always feel like we could win every week. I don't really.
Sure.
There's never a team where I run into it, I'm like, oh, no,
Yeah.
A couple of Georgia teams past years have been like that, and we managed to beat them. So, I like Chris's squad.
Well, he's got, you can't go wrong with Forster, so, I mean, once you start.
I've got Foster. I like, Vic is a good fantasy QB.
Yeah. Stevie Johnson.
He might get killed next week. That's a different story. We've had games. He can be productive. The only thing I don't like is Chargers D, and I think it's his only D.
And it's
That's going to prove to be a big hole in his lineup at some point.
Yeah, I think his biggest issue right now is his bench.
That too. He's got some injuries and some depth issues. And
yeah, it's bound to happen. I don't think anybody's ever went a full season without losing somebody in their lineup. So.
Yeah.
What about
lose them all at once?
What about Jimmy's team?
Felix Jones has been fast this preseason, so I don't know, what's going to happen there.
Have you looked at the Bolts at all? I mean,
let's take a look real quick.
He's got Griffin III, Murray, Bradshaw, Nelson. I mean, some pretty good players.
I like J.Lo Swart too.
Graham.
He's got depth of running back, especially he's got Murray, Bradshaw, and now Ridley. Ridley's shown to be a pretty solid guy at this point. I mean, he had a great, preseason and training camp, and then comes out with a 22.
Yeah.
Pretty good case for strong for fantasy. So.
I mean, going into it, I thought you guys had probably the toughest division out of the three, and you had, I mean, just from past years, maybe three of the best owners as well. So that, that's not gonna. It's not going to be an easy task when you have you, Hayes, and I'm sorry, you don't have Hayes. When you have you and Chris, and I guess that's it because you can't really put the Bolts in there. But I throw Hayes in there with you also. But Joey usually.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we get Joey.
You get Joey. Joey usually puts a pretty good team together as well, and J-Lo puts his heart on it there. So he's definitely drafted some good teams over the years.
Yeah, and everyone's got a good, knowledge base. Like Joey Ford is a decent squad. Decent. I like the receivers. I think the running backs with them is kind of thin. Like, Richardson's got to show that he's not dead.
Yeah.
And Michael Turner must be 5 years younger.
Yeah, I mean, I don't
be comfortable with that,
I don't love his running backs. I do like the kid Richardson, but the Browns are they're a disaster.
They are.
I mean, Wayne came out and looked pretty good. I was a little surprised at that with Colts and Wayne. I mean, I didn't think Wayne would hit 135 all year, and he came out there the first week. So.
Well, he looked good early, in almost like spring training. In preseason, but especially with Collie going down, they got to go to the veteran.
Yeah.
And with a rookie QB, it's going to just be, okay, take it, run,
Yeah, definitely. Now, how do you feel about these Thursday night games? You like them? Hate them?
I like it. I think it puts, again, it makes, you have the flexibility with the lineup to change afterwards.
Yeah.
Like who has, they teach a test against Greg Jennings, and now they're in a quandary. They got to decide, like, basically tomorrow when the game is, going to happen, that they're going to start Greg Jennings. So that would maybe lead to a lineup decision they wouldn't make on a